Often, we feel pressured by the opinions of others, which affects our self-confidence and the decisions we make. The constant search for external approval can make us live according to what others expect from us, rather than following our own essence. This creates a sense of disconnection, where instead of being ourselves, we try to please others, often without realizing it. Not everyone feels comfortable being the odd one out, the strange one, and they try to fit into patterns that were created, with everyone in their own little box. There are many stereotypes, but regardless of whether you fit in or not, each person is unique. This video is for you, who, like me, has worried a lot about having to do things to meet other people's expectations, especially our parents and other family members. Being measured by a standard that isn't yours, trying to fit where you didn't even want to be, talking to people you don't even like. The list is long, but the point is that the greatest relief comes when we detach ourselves from these things. Carl Jung studied the human psyche deeply, and he believed that, in order to find peace and balance, we need to let go of others' expectations and connect with our true self. He described this process as individuation, which helps us be who we truly are, without the masks imposed by external influences. Within each of us, there is a hidden part, something we prefer not to show the world. Jung called this part the shadow. The shadow is made up of all the aspects of ourselves that we deny or repress, whether out of fear, shame, or not wanting to face our own limitations. This includes not only negative characteristics like anger or selfishness, but also qualities we consider unacceptable or that don't fit what society expects of us. The shadow is, therefore, an essential part of our psyche, and denying or ignoring it can result in deep emotional discomfort. But what makes us distance ourselves from this part of ourselves? The answer lies in the ego. The ego is the part of our psyche that identifies with the outside world and the image we construct of ourselves. It seeks approval, validation, and acceptance, aligning itself with social norms and external expectations. When the ego feels that a part of us is at odds with these norms, it rejects it and puts it in the shadow. This rejection of the shadow creates internal conflict, as we are constantly trying to hide parts of ourselves, creating a space of inner disconnection. However, the shadow doesn't disappear. It manifests in subtle ways, such as in repressed emotions, impulsive attitudes, or even in relationships, where we project our insecurities onto others. The fear of external judgment is deeply linked to this dynamic because the ego lives with the need to be accepted. This constant search for others' approval makes us live a life of appearances, where the true self is covered by the need for acceptance. But by doing this, we distance ourselves from who we really are, and ultimately, from inner peace. The process of individuation, central to Jung's thought, is the path to integrating all aspects of the psyche, including the shadow, to reach what he called the true self. Contrary to what many think, individuation is not about becoming a better or more successful person, but about becoming who you really are, without the masks we wear to please others. It is a process of internal reconciliation where we learn to accept our imperfections, shadows, and the parts of ourselves that we often avoid. Individuation requires us to confront our own truths, often painful ones. Facing what is hidden in the shadow can be a scary process because it involves looking inward and accepting what doesn't fit the ideal of perfection we've been taught to seek. But paradoxically, it is precisely in this confrontation that we find our true freedom. Jung believed that true peace only comes when we can accept all aspects of our psyche, without fear of rejecting what is not perfect. By accepting our shadow and integrating it, we are able to live more authentically, more aligned with who we truly are, and not with the version of ourselves that others expect us to be. When we begin to live according to our true essence, the approval of others loses the weight it once had. The process of individuation gives us the confidence we need to make decisions based on what resonates with us, not on what others think. It is then that we free ourselves from the shackles of external approval and begin to live in a fuller, more authentic way. Within each of us, there is an inner force that guides us toward our true nature. Jung called this force the higher self. This archetype represents the center of the psyche, the point of balance where all parts of our psyche, both conscious and unconscious, meet and integrate. It is the purest and most authentic expression of who we truly are, beyond the masks we wear to fit external expectations. The beauty of the higher self is that it transcends the limitations of the ego and social pressures. When we are connected with the self, we no longer need the approval of others because we find our internal validation. The higher self helps us understand that, although society imposes roles and norms on us, true peace only comes when we can live according to our own purpose and essence. To access the higher self, it is necessary to learn to listen to our inner voice, the one that is often drowned out by external voices and the rush of daily life. This process of reconnection begins with the practice of distancing ourselves from the noise of the world, whether through meditation, introspection, or analyzing our own dreams. Each step in this direction brings us closer to our true nature, allowing us to live with more confidence and authenticity. The higher self is, therefore, a guide to help us find our inner peace, that state in which we free ourselves from external pressures and can finally live according to what genuinely resonates with us. When we can hear this inner voice, the search for external validation loses its power, and we become freer to be who we truly are. True acceptance starts within ourselves. Often, we seek others' approval to feel validated, as if our own evaluation is not enough. But when we pause to reflect, we realize that true self-confidence only arises when we fully accept ourselves, with all our qualities and imperfections. Accepting ourselves doesn't mean settling or giving up on growth. On the contrary, it is the necessary foundation for any true transformation. Self-acceptance involves looking within and realizing that we are complex beings, full of potential but also limitations. Recognizing our weaknesses, while also acknowledging our strengths, allows us to live in a more peaceful and secure way. Instead of fighting against our insecurities, we can learn to embrace them, understanding that they are part of the individuation process and do not need to prevent us from moving forward. When we can fully accept ourselves without the need to meet others' expectations, our self-confidence grows. We begin to make decisions based on what we truly believe, without the constant weight of seeking approval. This state of internal confidence is what allows us to live authentically and truly, without fear of being judged or rejected. By accepting ourselves as we are, we create a solid foundation of self-confidence that doesn't depend on external validation, but on the certainty that we are whole in our own essence. The daily practice of acceptance involves dedicating moments of our day to reflect on who we are, with kindness and honesty. This might include a pause at the beginning or end of the day to do a peaceful self-assessment, recognizing the victories and challenges faced. When looking in the mirror, instead of criticizing, allow yourself to smile at the person you are at that moment. The practice of gratitude is also a tool that can help, focusing on what is good within you, on the qualities that can be easily ignored in the midst of the pressure from the world. Another technique is positive self-talk, where we replace self-critical thoughts with words of support and encouragement. When you notice you're criticizing or comparing yourself to others, stop and remind yourself that everyone has their own path. Acceptance strengthens over time, and the more we practice, the more we connect with our essence and develop genuine self-confidence. This daily commitment to acceptance helps us live in a lighter way, knowing that, despite imperfections, we are worthy of respect and love, especially the love that comes from within. As this practice becomes part of the routine, external pressure diminishes, and we begin to live according to our own values, strengthening our confidence and authenticity. In a noisy world, where external voices bombard us all the time, finding moments of inner silence has become a vital necessity for self-knowledge. The constant noise, whether it comes from social media, daily routines, or the expectations of others, often prevents us from hearing our own voice. True peace is not found in the external world, but in the tranquility of our mind and heart. Inner silence is a sacred space where we can reconnect with who we truly are. It is there, in the stillness, that the answers to our deepest questions arise. When we manage to silence the external chaos, we can hear what our higher self has to tell us. This practice doesn't simply mean physical silence, but seeking a state of mental calm, where the distractions and worries of daily life lose their power over us. This practice of inner silencing begins with the willingness to slow down. Instead of being carried away by the rush of the world, it is necessary to reserve moments in the day to breathe deeply, focus on the present, and put worries aside. Techniques like meditation or conscious breathing are powerful tools to achieve this state of inner silence. Meditation, for example, allows our mind to calm down and, at the same time, connects us with what lies beyond words and thoughts. It is in this space that we find clarity and can hear the real needs of our psyche. Another method to strengthen inner silence is dream analysis, a practice recommended by Jung. Our dreams can be portals to the unconscious, revealing parts of our psyche that are beyond the reach of consciousness. By reflecting on the meaning of our dreams, we can better understand our repressed emotions and deepest desires, allowing for greater self-awareness. By cultivating inner silence, we learn to reduce the influence of external voices that try to shape and guide us. We begin to live in a more centered way, acting based on our own wisdom and not on what others expect of us. This process leads us to a more authentic and free life, where external expectations lose their impact. True freedom lies in accepting ourselves as we are, without trying to please or follow external expectations. The process of individuation, which involves integrating all parts of our psyche, helps us find inner peace and confidence in who we truly are. When we accept our imperfections and move away from the concerns about others' judgments, we are able to live in a more authentic and peaceful way, free from the pressure of external opinions. Worrying about what others will think is normal, otherwise we wouldn't care about looking ridiculous, and congratulations to those who have the courage, who are indifferent to others' opinions. But one question that always makes me think about all of this is, in 100 years we won't exist. One way or another, I will leave this world. This leads me to believe even more that I shouldn't care about what others think of me. You may have liked this video or not, but I understand that it's impossible to please everyone. If you liked this content, subscribe to the channel, and check out the books I recommend in the first pinned comment. Also take a look at my exclusive ebook, a guide that can help you on this path of self-discovery. Stay with me for the next video.